Hey everyone, spooky season is upon us and we have a short little Halloween haul video. The main centerpiece of this video will be a Michael's Spooky Town, and we're going to create like a cute little swampy area for this Spooky Town piece. So if you look closely, you'll notice we have a new styrofoam bottom and the paint that we use to paint that styrofoam bottom. Over here off to the left we have our swamp that is slowly coming together. Yes, those are hay bales, but I want to highlight those because this is a Halloween haul video. So let's dive into everything we're going to take a look at, starting with our main centerpiece right here. So a lot of you are probably wondering how much this Spooky Town piece costs. This is Madame Estelle's Séance services. This one's going to run you $219.99. It is one of the more expensive pieces that is at Michael's this year. It does have a lot of moving parts, and it does it does have sound as well. Overall, it is one of the more impressive pieces, and it's actually one of the more interesting pieces as well. If you've seen this one at your Spooky Town, at your Michael's, please let me know. But we're going to dive in and take a look at all the intricacies and the features that make this one actually kind of stand out and seem a little bit special. So the first thing that's going to catch people's eye is this painting right here. This is Tonight's Seance Dame Penelope. This one actually is one of those shifting, see if I can get it, it has a skeleton view as well as a normal. It's kind of cute. It's a really interesting kind of Spooky Town piece, and it's positioned up here on this guard's tower with what I believe is a witch right here carrying a candle. So you'll notice something about Madame Estelle is there is a lot, an absolute a lot going on with this piece. There's barrels on the side, there's green lights, there's candles everywhere, there's a rat right next to this cat, there's books on the ground, looks like cauldrons that are tipped over, purple lights, flashing bulbs, and people right in the center, as well as more, I guess, witches over here on this left-hand side. All right, now let's take a look at the main table. So at the main centerpiece, you have 4 individuals, and what I presume is Madame Estelle conducting a seance around us. Oh my God, I'm going to blank out what they're called. But a ball that's flashing just up and down. It's very bright, and then behind them you have a black cat. And this piece, this Spooky Town, is actually illuminated with purple lights in the background, as you see. And above the table there is walk-ins welcomes, and as we move up we have Madame Estelle's Seance Services, the main title of this piece. Continuing up we have this tower, and I mean there's absolutely so much going on with this, illuminated by like a soft orange light, lots of burnt orange. But what's more interesting over here is this is another standout piece right here, or another feature, if I can get to focus on it, is that flashing bulb right there, that flashing orb. It's kind of sealed behind a window and it flashes every once in a while. Continuing up that right side, it just goes up into the roof, and along the roof you have just bars, windows, a chimney in the back, and then down, and then over towards the middle, we'll get to the top here in a moment, you have this window. And along the outer edge, along this lining, you have pumpkins, pots and pumpkins, but that actually flips around. Let's see if we can get a good focus. And it stays there for a good long time. It's a skeleton, Victorian skeleton woman. Not Victorian, but kind of like that mid-50s, kind of like Houdini air look going on. So let's move on over to the left-hand side. We'll take a look. All right, and then over here on the left-hand side, we mentioned it earlier, but we have another woman holding a candle. Lots and lots of lights, but what stands out about this is calling spirits for over 33 years, a cute little billboard with an eye that kind of goes back and forth. That's one of the more unique. So on this, that's actually one of the more unique things I've seen on one of the pieces is an eyeball, so that's pretty standoutish. Over here we have lots of cats. I believe on this piece you have 3 black cats and a rat. So 4 animals on this piece, which is really interesting. And then you have at the top of the tower a nice little purple hat with that kind of same burnt umber kind of red looking color right here. On those two towers, those kind of Victorian towers, you have what looks to be a witch's hat. And then finally at the top, this is another one of the standout pieces. You're going to have this Ouija board. And it says, "Together we will find the whereabouts of the left behind." And as you see the little Ouija board thing, it goes get, and then when it switches over, it will say out. It's pretty loud, like you're not gonna be able to hear it, but this is a very, very loud spooky town. There is a lot going on with it. There is actually sound with it as well, so let's turn that on. All right, so let's see if we can blast the sound on this bad boy. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to hear it, so let me move my mic.
Get a glimpse at Madame Estelle's Séance service. Get out. Escape.
A very, very loud piece. I'm gonna turn it off. And it is a very, very loud spooky town. And as before, this is actually a power cord. So Madame Estelle's is powered by a power cord. I said that towards the end of that last clip. You will need to plug it in and have an extension cord running to it. Then along the sides, we're just gonna take a quick peek at the sides because there's not a lot going on the sides of these pieces. Is just a barrel and green lights illuminating both sides, as well as like a tree, another chimney, and it's kind of broken. Everything about this piece is kind of just going on in the front, and that kind of same generic green grass that you see on a lot of spooky towns is scattered about. Oh look, 5 animals, another rat. We found it as we explored. More books, and then more grass. Oh, 6, another rat. If you can see it, 6 animals. Any in the back? And then as we go up, we can kind of take a look at the top. And then we're going to take a look at it, what it looks like when it's not lit up. This is what Madame Estelle will look like just sitting on your shelf, not illuminated. Kind of just lots of deep grays, purples, and reds. Definitely a lot of gray on this one. Very muted colors, eyeballs. What makes this piece stand out are its main features. Its picture, the Ouija board, and then the eyeball are kind of the main things. So let's take a look at our swamp, or our Halloween haul. So moving on to our Halloween haul, we're going to discuss a few things. All right, diving into our Halloween haul, the first thing we're going to take a look at is hay bales. These ones I got from Michael's. They were super cheap, like 90% off. They are they're a good little size. They're more summer focused. However, you could strip the paint off or darken them up a little bit. They're a good size, so if we're going to use our model here and compare them to her, they would be kind of like decent, like a nice little hay bale size. They're solid, nice and thick, but if your Michael still has them, you can probably pick those up. I really like hay bales. They accent spooky towns quite well, and they kind of have like a 90s little Halloween feel to them, right? Hay rides, things like that. Here we have some from Hobby Lobby. These were $2.99. Hobby Lobby, I believe fall is currently 40% off. Comparatively, these are almost the same size. They're a lot thicker, they're a little taller, and they're more like, the proportions make more sense for hay bales. They're not hay, obviously, they're solid blocks, and they just have Crispies all over them. But Hobby Lobby, for those ones, if you want them, they're gonna run you like $2.99. I think I got like 6 bags of them for a few bucks. And now we have a bunch of hay bales. I really like hay bales for some reason. Don't know why. I feel like they just remind me of the 90s. So, moving on, let's take a look at more of our Halloween haul. And for our next thing we're going to take a look at for our Halloween haul, we have a nice little Spellomatic. Looks like a witch. She's playing just like a slot machine. Spellomatic in a hurry. It's actually kind of fun. It's a cute, fun little piece. It has that same celestial feel that you've seen around Michael's this year. Kind of 1950s magic show, kind of Houdini's looking thing. It's really cute, 1930s, 1950s. I really enjoy this type of style. It's really interesting. The colors are a bit muted. The blue's nice and deep. They have that cool little moon as well as those same deep reds that you've been seeing on a lot of the Spooky Town pieces. Overall, I don't remember how much she retailed for, but she does have a black cat. Pieces with a black cat are always fantastic. And then over here, there's like a little bottle with vegetables, and it looks like she just stopped by. It really accents Madame Estelle's piece, Madame Estelle's Spooky Town, so you kind of add it to it. And also with that kind of like same acrylic gray, it really makes things pop. This tree you've seen before. This is part of the swamp, but it needed something to kind of stand out in the background. You can pick these up at Michael's anytime you want. Nothing unusual about them. Let's grab these hay bales. They don't belong in the swamp right now. And then over here we have another Spooky Town piece that we're going to take a look at. Our haunted swamp wouldn't be complete without like a haunted little grove. I think this accents our haunted swamp quite nicely. And for those of you who are a bit older or into Spooky Town collecting, then you might recognize this piece. This one is actually from 2006. And it has a bunch of skulls and skeletons and a ghost. It's a bit quirky, it's kind of funny. It doesn't really have a name or anything. It can run on both batteries and power. This one you'll have to pick up off of like the Facebook Marketplace or eBay or wherever you buy your older things. It runs on battery, it runs on power. I know I mentioned that, but it has the same, as you can see, a lot more deep greens compared to Estelle. But it's a cute little piece. He kind of wobbles in the background. And he kind of accents like our spooky little swamp, right? We have this Madame Estelle seance going on. And then off to the side, you have this kind of like cute little swamp and everything with a lady gambling right on the outside. But overall, it's really, really cool. Creating a swamp alongside a seance was a bit tricky though. All right, and here is the entire Spooky Town Hall with Madame Estelle's all lit up and illuminated, and our cute little swamp off there to the left, which is full of hay bales. What I need is like scattered straw to put on the ground. And this is the paint that we use to make our new styrofoam base. Liquitex Neutral Gray. I was actually gonna make like an urban little town when I bought that. That's $5.99, pick that up at Michael's, wherever you pick up your paint. And you should easily be able to create this. Obviously, $19.99, it's gonna be quite pricey, but the rest of the stuff is pretty cheap, and then you can have your cute little seance area with a nice attached swamp. Retails for, I don't know. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good things, and let me know what you think.